All right, guys, wanted to give you another one of these videos explaining some of the more basic Diamond Mine baseball game concepts. You know, I've read feedback on a variety of videos, and I know that people enjoy watching videos and content that explains more about individual games and some of the content that they, or some of the ways in which they're played and things you need to understand. One of the difficulties about Diamond Mine baseball is that its system is so closed that you're basically, going to play either like push pitch or push hit, or there are a couple of options you have as a player, but there's no real mechanic to speak of. Everything happens under the hood. Now, there are some advantages of this. One of the big ones is that it can make calculations that are infinitesimal. It can its randomization tool can be a little bit more realistic and a little bit more varied than you get from like rolling dice and that you would get from things like that. But one of the problems that you have with that type of system is that you don't always feel like you're really the one playing it. You feel like the computer's almost coming up with this story for you. And so as a result, as you've seen the last couple of days, I've been trying to do more of these videos to explain some of these concepts so that we can at least have something to say and we can understand some things about Diamond Mine baseball. So today, we're going to talk about here is catcher fatigue. Now, apologies as usual because I know you can't read this because there's just simply no way. These videos I'm creating don't have that level of video quality. Sometime in the future it will once I save up my pennies and we get a better system than this, but that may be quite a ways in the future. Today we want to talk about catcher fatigue. Catcher fatigue is one of the best innovations in Diamond Mine baseball. I will note, though, that I don't think that there are any fatigue systems set up for other infield or outfield players in the game, which differentiates Diamond Mine from out of the park baseball. Out of the park baseball, you will see guys get tired if you try to start guys day in and day out, which is much more realistic. I'm not sure what Action PC baseball does. I haven't messed around that much with that, but we'll figure that out as the weeks, months, and years go by. In Diamond Mine baseball, here the catcher fatigue system is designed to ensure that you limit your starting catcher to about 85 to 90% of total playing time. Now, have we done that? No, but it's all right. It does so by monitoring usage within a moving 10-day window as the season goes along. If you're in a stretch where your team has no days off, your catcher will almost certainly get tired if you start him 10 days in a row. Giving a catcher an off day once every 10 days is sometimes enough to keep him rested, and giving him 2 days off will definitely keep him at full strength unless he caught a couple of long extra inning games in that stretch. So it's interesting how this works. It's not entirely certain whether it's based on pitches faced or batters faced or exactly what, at least from what it says there. But there certainly is a bit of variety here, which is good and which is actually pretty realistic. A catcher's workload is determined on a batter's caught basis. In a modern season, a team typically faces about 6,250 batters over a 182-day schedule. That's about 344 batters per 10-day period. And because we try to limit catchers to 85 to 90% of total playing time, you should try to keep your catchers from facing more than 300 batters in a 10-day period. You can monitor catcher usage using the team status report and the status page of the player profile window, the team status report. Okay, well, let's see if we can find that. So we'll go over here to reports, standard, custom, memorized, whatever. Team. So where is team status is my question. I'm not certain exactly where I'm supposed to find the team status report in this. This is one of the problems with Diamond Mine baseball. This is, oh, here we go. It's under team roster, team status, right? So it's not in an obvious place. So if we're going to look at, say, the New York Yankees, we can go ahead and take a quick look here. And of course, this will come up behind the help file for some stupid reason. And what do we get in team status? All that we get are, well, we can get pitcher status, which is the same thing that you see every time your pitcher thing comes up, and then batters faced as catcher, and that's it. So, I mean, you can see the usage here, right? It's pretty obvious. I mean, I'm using, and again, this is too small for you to see anyway, so I can describe it to you. Yogi Berra is starting almost every single game at catcher for the Yankees, which he obviously should do since he's much better than Charlie Silvera. Silvera came in for part of a doubleheader, and then Berra will come up later on. 10-day window, and Berra has faced 320 batters. So now we know, and it would be nice if the help file were a little bit more clear on this, we know that this is actually fully based on batters faced for catchers. All right. Now, is that realistic or not? I'm not 100% sure. This would be an interesting thing to study in sabermetrics through the history of baseball. Of course, this system was created, probably 30-something years ago. So we could look at that again and see what we could figure out. If a catcher is used more than this, he will be less productive as a hitter and fielder, with the penalty being greater the further the catcher is over the limit. The penalty is very severe if you let someone catch every inning of every game, so it's not something you'd want to try on a regular basis. Of course, the other question is, does the computer manager know this? Because I wasn't managing the Yankees in this game or the game before. I'm not sure that it does. Using a catcher at another position, including designated hitter, is equivalent to giving him the day off, but you need to do this in advance. If you catch him too much and he gets tired as a result, you can't play him at another position the next game without penalizing him at the plate. But if you play him somewhere else once in a while, this will help keep him rested in the first place, right? So this is not really all that well written, right? Basically, if the catcher's not listed as tired and you decide all of a sudden we're going to have him play at a different position that he actually played, if he had a different position, you can make sure that he stays rested in terms of catcher fatigue. But if you wait until he's tired and try this, then he will receive a penalty at the plate. So it's a little bit convoluted. It's not the best system in the world, right? I mean, because that's not really giving the guy the day off. It's kind of a strange approach, I would say, to catcher rest. I would be very interested to know what your thoughts are on the subject, if you think that this is the right way to do this, or if you think that there might be a different way that's a little bit more accurate. And another thing I really want to look at myself is catcher fatigue, and to see if anybody's done any actual studies on this and to see what the data says, because as you must recall, this game was made honestly in really the mid-'80s, and this probably has not changed since then. Strange to have it all hidden away in the Steam status report. I've played Diamond Mine for over 20 years. Today was the first time I ever saw that report. Anyway, there you go. I'll talk with you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.